So modeling part is done. We'll move on to the UVs. Before I do, I will give some rough naming first. So let's plate. This one, we merge these two, maybe including this, so total 3 as one. Handle, and then handle ladder. Okay, total 3 pieces. And just open up the UV editor. And as I did before, we start with the automate UVs. Same for the others. Before I do, make sure to transform, there's no transform at all, especially the scale transform. So I'm gonna freeze it first. So there's no transform anything. And then auto UV everything. And these two should be just fine without any merging. So just leave it. And this one, we need to merge just a little bit. With this inside arch won't be visible much, but I will still merge it. Okay. So this part is also finished. And then there won't be same material, so I will just keep it a separate materials. And then we give them a different UV tiles as well. Or maybe same UV tile, but then just different material should be fine, I think. Okay. And lastly, the ladder piece. So we'll just merge everything first, and then using the Unfold 3D tool. And there's some adder here. There's some maybe some parts that it's maybe hard to process by Unfold 3D. I can try go partial UVs like this. So it's having hard time to process for, I guess, certain length or something, but it still work on just part of the geometry. So yeah. Well, I mean the rudder strap itself has been unwrapped already, so I can maybe cut to the few different pieces and then pack it. This. should be fine. Right, so modeling and UV parts is done. I might can add some scroll tip detail here and there, but let's see if I need to do after like texturing. Okay, adding a few more like subdivision, so I can get a bit more smoother geometries. It also helps to texturing as well. We'll move on to texturing. So there's already shader sign for 3 different materials. Okay, so here inside of the Substance Painter, and this is the complete texture inside Painter. So I'm gonna break down what I did in Painter. So for the leather, this is a close-up, and I did make a few layers. So if I go from the beginning, this is the base layer, and I start with the leather back, which is the preset material. So grab one of the leather from here and then start from here. So adding a glossy layer, because default leather back is quite rough, so I want it to be a bit more like glossy. So adding just glossy layer and then make it a bit brighter, so I can get some reflection. And then adding a darken layer so that it can get a bit dirty, because without it, it's just so plain. And there's not much here, just the black as base color, and then just roughness, so I can break up some reflection. And using the grunge finger into the fill layer, so this is what it looks like, so that this area can get darker. And I copy this layer, and then just using a different scale. So this one was 10 and this one is 12, so that it can get different type of a distribution. Also a bit lighter. So this is 100% and then this is 92%. So I can get another kind of layering effect of the darkening. And then adding a lighten scratch, which is this one. So this kind of leather, when it's get older, there's a lot of like damages, worms and scratches always happening, especially like this weapon. So I did make it lighter for one layer, and then I also make one like darker layer, so you can get a bit of like kind of lit effect, right? So there's a black in the center, and then a bit brighter color. It can be surrounded. So basically start with this layer, and then using grunge scratch, and then blur a little bit with a bit like bright color, and then adding a like height value so that it can kind of bulge out a little bit in this layer. And I duplicate this layer and then change the color to black, and then put the height to the negative value so it can get deeper. And then without the blur, just using same grunge scratch, so I can get this effect here. And the next one is the kind of lighten effect. What I saw from the reference mostly have some different color, mostly get a bit brighter in this kind of a valley area. So I'd create layer, lighten layer, and then using a mask editor so that I can get the this kind of etching as a start point, and then using vector edgeware as an overlay. So I've got some breakup here, and then did some paint over so that I get more breakup on the edges. So this is what I got. On top of this, there's another scratch layer. So this one, well, I tend to make this one, intended to make this one is more for the fresh, fresh scratches, because so that they are not like gets too dark, but then kind of get lightly scratched. So I think it's gives a nice touch. And also using grunge scratch. And then lastly, using darken AO, I did plug in the actual ambient occlusion from the project. I baked the map texture set and just plug into the fill layer. So this is the one. And then invert it, otherwise it basically looks like this. So that's the invert it, and then adding a paint layer so that I get some darkening effect on the where it's with other like objects. It's basically ambient occlusion from geometry to geometries. So this is the leather. And then other metal pieces are more simple. So this one, the handle one, well, I could make a bit larger, but I just place these two into the one UDIM. So, and then, well, this one is not like super featured in the final image, so I didn't really mind about the small UV, but it could be bigger, I think. So this one has kind of few layer compared to leather, but yeah. So this is the base layer. I start with the iron law damages, and start with darkening effect again. So a color and roughness and matter. So if I go this mask, I'm using just third layer in the generator, and yeah, this is a modification in the slider. So I got this. It's quite like generic, like a noisy kind of layer, which is what I intended. So I got some breakup on top of the base material. So this base color. And the roughness. So color and roughness are two most important map, in my opinion. Then there's a light scratch that comes on top. So these are the scratch layer. Have a tiny bit of a negative value in the height. Also using grunge scratch. And then I kind of use another layer, like grunge wipes much. I mean, it doesn't really matter with what kind of map it is, but I just want to add in extra layer so that I don't get like quite even kind of a scratch everywhere. So it still looks a bit even, but I guess it doesn't really matter at this point. So yeah, I did like multiply these so that I can get a bit of a like on and off, and then using a mask editor to can mask out the like, edges basically. So I only get scratches on the more flat surface, right? And edge worn. So I also using the same Meteor Edgeware as generator, and then brought this out. So it's a bit like uneven, but then it's not like super noisy, so that it can give me quite nice like sheen around the edges. And lastly, AO. So this one obviously adding some ambient occlusion. Same using fill layer, and then just grab the one from the baked map and plug it to the fill layer and import it, and then I blur a little bit actually. So yeah, so that's all for this header area. And lastly, the blade. Start from the base material, and I mean the base material probably doesn't really matter much, but I plug in iron shiny, and then actually rotate to the 90 degrees so that I can get some nice like nice effect on the bump or height. This also layers the iron low damaged so that I can get some like dirty looking. And then using another like fill layer in the mask so that I can mask this out. This and another layer. So fill layer and using the ambient occlusion here, and import it and then blur it as well. And then I actually do some paint as well so that I can get like some sort of a stroke. Maybe I could just paint it, but I try to using some ambient occlusion at the beginning. So yeah, so this is what I got. Okay. And then the lighten layer, which is this one. So with the blades, I guess just like the handle, the corner, like sharper corner area tend to be brighter. So I did use the Meteor Edgeware, also curvature. And then using linear dodge as a layering type, and then it make it quite low, like almost 50%. So I got this. Next one is the light scratches. I didn't want to make too kind of deep like scratches, so it's I didn't even use the height here. I just want to using some light scratches so it can get very subtle. So using the grunge scratches, that's it. And this is the how the map looks like. I mean the mask. And lastly, dark and dusty. For this kind of matter usually have a well, it's some sort of stains, you know, like spread across the metal surface. So that's what I want to have overall. Using a mask editor to start with. So this what it look like. And and then grunge loss fine in the fill layer. So I can get some nice and crisp kind of mask effect here. So this is what I got. Yeah, so that's a breakdown for texturing that I have right now. As usual, I could come back and then just adjust some texture if I need after I do some test render. But yeah, didn't spend too much time for this, but this is how I usually just go through the texturing, just layering like bunch of stuff. They are like quite similar in a way. Start from base materials, even for the armor as well. Start from the base material, and then normally they are like aged and then gets worn, like damaged. So create a lighter, like darker layers, and it depends on the surface type. You can get scratch, or you can get some like dirt, like stained. Not just one, but then multiple layers usually like better with the different intensity. So yeah, that's how I approach this. Yeah, so I will be exporting this out and then start look debbing the entire model.